Extinction! Not again!
Forget the rest of that line. Just say the last two words again. Play it on repeat, maybe.
Not again! Not again! Not again!
Do you, Forky, take care on Beverly?
Interesting. They're diving straight onto Forky still? The most memorable part of Toy Story 4, huh? Well, it's finally here in full. It's Pixar's Toy Story 5 official trailer. Does this trailer turn it around and bring us back on side? For me, it's an interesting one. Because you see, the thing is, I have relatively silver lining side of hope when it comes to this movie. With it clearly being the whole toys versus tech storyline, I think it has a genuine good opportunity for a really fantastic moral to aim at parents to stop kids being such iPad babies, advocating for the limitation of screen time, pointing out the lack of privacy, and the way it has caused a lot of social development issues in all sorts of children. And so in that regards, I'm looking forward to the ending of this movie, not to end the whole franchise, but to just tell a good point. But from that first teaser alone, I had two major red flags with this movie. One was the fact that Woody randomly teleports into the room, as if to say he is back, he's here, and they're gonna go back on the ending of Toy Story 4. That feels lame. The other thing is that every character looks so primly proper, so perfectly polished and clean, that they don't feel real. But now that we have 20 times the visuals than before, in a lot of ways, it's kind of all the same thoughts, but exaggerated in every direction. There are some things in this trailer I do quite like to see, some really interesting spins, like the choice in art style changes.
Yeah! I now pronounce you!
This is nowhere near where I thought this trailer was gonna start, for a start, but also, this is such an influenced movie, you know what I mean? This is right out of the Sony playbook, the DreamWorks aesthetic. We've actually changed art styles for once when showcasing the imagination version of a toy. To be fair, the comparisons go back to 2010 when it certainly wasn't done back then and was just normal CGI. That's so weird. It's uncanny to see Toy Story looking visually different as an artistic choice. It really is a modern Toy Story movie. But then at the same time, there are so many times I stopped this trailer to grumble, rant about some poor choice that I don't fully get on board with. This movie is not gonna run away from the whole cheap cash grab idea of a movie. This franchise already finished heavily twice, and now we're running it back to the point we're even bringing every character back as well. And it shows as well that time has passed, because the characters don't fully sound like the characters anymore.
But tech is for everything.
Is it weird to say this doesn't feel like the same voice acting? I know it's different lines, I know it's 30 years later, but Woody doesn't sound like Woody, like intonation-wise. I have such stark reminders of how they spoke in 1, 2, and 3 especially. This feels more like, I guess they're going for a more mature spin. I think it's also the mic quality is so compressed that they don't quite feel like they're in the room either. Maybe that's a real nitpick, or just the lack of nostalgia goggles. But they sound different and weird. It's gone on for too long.
Came here as fast as I could.
Like, I think also they're really making him sound different. Like, he's like, low down here now. Why? It's a shame. It doesn't feel like him. Now, this could be down to the more serious tone this movie is going for. If you want to argue it's a more serious tone, they're just sad in the moment. But it also just doesn't have that whimsy to it anymore. I guess because it's dealing with something more existential. I guess because it's just kind of running with the motions again. There are so many references to Toy Story in this Toy Story 5 trailer that I don't get like a gleeful, ooh, nostalgia boost out of it. Because it feels targeted. It feels intentional. And I think, honestly, the worst example is the trailer music.
You got a friend.
Oh, God. Is this, is this real? This feels like a parody. Like, this feels like if you were to invent a Toy Story trailer, this is what you get. It's like the shot of him staring at a walkie-talkie feels exactly like the kind of shot AI would come up with for this thing. I've been clearly looking at way too much AI animated fake rip-off versions of trailers for other videos. I think as well the Pixar style just looks it more and more because AI is mostly ripping off Pixar. It's uncanny. And to go around now and just chuck in the main theme of, again, the first movie, a parallel, feels cheaper than anything else. Like, it's really a movie in the shadow of itself. And they've just, like, dramatized it like a bloody Marvel trailer. They've added echo and they made it dramatic. Why? Oh, God, is nothing sacred anymore? We just have to regurgitate it again? It is the classic trailer bastardization of a song. You know what I'm talking about? Like, the constant bashing rises on a beat, the music coming in for a whole 5 notes and then fading away again, repeating the same chorus high every time. It feels so, I don't know what to say, formulated? This doesn't feel like an original Toy Story movie coming out from an incredibly creative franchise. This feels like running it back again because it's their most successful. And that's not to say I hate all of the references in this thing. There are a couple that I think thematically have an argument to it. I fully ruminate on it for one of these. Talking about coming back so very often thematically to the plot of Toy Story 1. Whether it would be the actual conflict with a toy appearing on the bed.
Toys have been working all summer to try and get Bonnie to make friends.
This feels a little bit like a TV show script so far. And what I mean by that, like, is it's just an exposition dump. It's like it's aiming for an even younger demographic suddenly. Like, the acting is, like, extra childish. With, like, the way that Bonnie is immediately like a zombie on the iPad. The way that there seems to be no nuance in approaching this conflict. It's a repeat, in a sense, of the first Toy Story. The superior toy appearing on the bed and they climb up to it. But so far it feels quite flat. I'm just getting a lot of exposition. Or whether it comes to be about just the fact that Woody and Buzz start arguing again.
You don't think I can do it?
Ah, and there's the obligatory Buzz needs something to do with his character, so they don't know what it is. So now he's brash and reckless. Love that. That's gonna recurrently frustrate us the whole time and cause more conflicts. They worked it out. He's not smart, but not because he's thinking about his internals, jumping out on his externals, I guess. Sure. I mean, they had to work out something for him, so it's something that causes conflict and will frustrate the audience. Why not?
Nice poncho.
Oh, they aren't. They're going back to Toy Story 1 with them fighting again. That's what it is. That's what they're doing. And he's jealous. It is a big thematic narrative tie-up looping back to the first one a bunch. Some of it could be good. Like, that's not the worst in the world. I hope the damn song doesn't show up. This trailer is butchering it currently, with all the classic trailer bashes as well in there. You know what I'm talking about? Those rises.
It's good to see them fighting again. It sure is.
Oh, and actually, they've got the voice of, a voice for Mr. Potato Head this time. Is that the voice of both of them? It is. It's the voice of both of them who passed away in the original movie. They're both being played by new cast members, as I understand it, but that's kind of sweet in its own way. Again, loops back to the first one. It's nice they didn't just make them mute and hid them at the back of the group, you know? Entirely. That one especially, I think, makes sense for the last movie in the franchise, the kind of thing I almost would have expected to have happened in Toy Story 4. If the whole time Buzz hated Woody for leaving the group, and it was more of a conflict there, they swap roles or whatever, I feel like that could have been a great direction for Buzz as a character and would have neatly tied up to the first movie again. But the fact that this is movie 5, another ending again, I don't trust that this is going to be the last in the franchise, even if they're really trying to pigeon it out as the last in the franchise. Unless they're not, and they're just insisting upon themselves. There is references to all of the Toy Story movies in this, and I can't work out if it's shameless or has narrative integrity. The Toy Story 4 one is the least noticeable because the characters briefly show up in one shot. I guess Toy Story 3 as well is really hard to tell. The characters are in a box once, I guess it's not that bad. But with Toy Story 2, I was personally offended for a time before I maybe understood what they were actually going for, because they outright rip back to Jesse's backstory again.
Make a child happy.
Oh, that's so... No. That's a recreation of Jesse's backstory? I guess this is meant to be the movie that is going to tie up all previous movies by dipping into the material of the previous movies. I think that there's an argument to be made there. I can't read it as anything less than shallow, though. Like, that original scene from Toy Story 2 with Jessie and Emily was so perfect that it sucks that they ripped it out and done it again. There's not even, like, much yellow golden glow. It's drained of its original color. It's the most clinical version of this scene I've all seen. And they've not even brought back the Bugs Life tree asset, I bet. What is this?
Bonnie still needs us.
Oh, so now Bonnie has an attachment to Jessie? If you say so. Was that established in 4? Are they making it up as they go along? Or if it's actually that is Bonnie's arms and she gets back into that saddle? I guess that's nicer. I guess that's thematically okay. A bit shallow to copy the exact cinematography. Man, maybe that's more debatable. God, I don't know. But it's referenced one way or another and feels a bit iffy. I don't know. I like original stuff in my sequels. Going so heavily back on the past feels less. Now, hopefully I'm right in that they just recreate it in the modern-ish day that this movie is taking place in. So it's that she thematically ends up with another female owner who adores her, and so she has her own conflicts within that. That explains why she's so confrontative when it comes to the iPad on a bed scene. I get it. I like that. That comes together nicely. But it does feel a little shallow to be like, hey, remember the most emotionally swinging parts of the franchise? Let's just recreate them again. But this time without the color palette. I don't...
Hello?
Is it as bad out there for toys?
Yeah, okay, and then they do just whip him back in. At least they actually explain it instead of just teleporting him into the bedroom like the teaser. But it also just feels cheap. Like, I feel like this would have been already a better movie if they tried to do it without Woody. But then they blame the fact that it flopped on the fact that Woody's not in it, maybe. Is Tom Hanks the only thing holding this franchise up, according to Pixar? It's a shame, is what it is. But it loops back to the first movie again. They're walkie-talkieing. If there's this many narrative parallels to Toy Story 1, then hopefully that means this is actually the last one, you know? Again, am I reading into this too much?
We're finding more abandoned toys each day.
Okay, nice. I like where this is going. The way that I guess they can use Woody as a vehicle to talk about toys in general and the wider world and impact. It's not just this one child. I kind of like. It's nice. It's getting to the point. The execution of this side of the story I can probably get behind. We'll see. It's also a little bit more tell, don't show, but maybe that's just because it's the trailer. Hopefully we would have seen this first, and then he's reiterating it now in the movie. Hey there! Thank you for making it to the halfway mark of this video. Come subscribe if you haven't already for more animated movie trailers. We'll cover the final trailer of this one, as well as reviews once these movies come out. But otherwise, I'll let you get back to the second half of Toy Story 5. Wow, it's here.
We're gonna need backup.
Oh, okay, so that's what they do. They help. Thanks, trailer, but I thought that would be a nice thing to see the mystery of how they're tied in, other than seeing it through leaked previews instead. The visuals on them are quite nice, though. I love the light-ups in the water. It's a great water simulator, I'll give you that. Pixar, like, the animation quality, the realism is really well done. It's stylistically lovely, when it's not even doing the DreamWorks crayon-ly thing.
Come on, Bullseye!
I also feel like this is being quite loose with just, like, spoilers. Or, like, I guess, like, you don't know the context of anything. But this feels pretty late game. It's an interesting choice. Also an ensemble just riding out in the middle of the road during the sunset. Are humans literally gone? Is it post-apocalyptic? Are they all so stuck on their screens that they're not actively outside anymore? Are they bringing back the damn cones? Okay, no, they're not. That's not moving, at least. That's something. And they are keeping Jessie as the main protagonist in a place. That's good. I like that. That's nice. Gosh, this all just comes together very weirdly, doesn't it? There is also, as well, a couple real nitpicks I feel that are in here. There's a couple things I feel are, like, unspoken rules of the animation of Toy Story that this trailer has already shown broken a little bit. Whether it be the way that some of the characters express themselves when they're not meant to be expressing themselves, that feels a little bit uncanny.
Bonnie, screen time's over now.
I mean, this is obviously the point, but I feel like it's getting a little on the nose with Jessie looking sadly in the distance. We don't usually have the inanimate toys expressing themselves. That's almost like an unspoken animation rule for Toy Story, you know? You can infer how they feel without them expressing it. That almost feels more artistically inclined. To see Jessie and Bullseye in the background there being like, feels a little bit TV show, less movie. It's fine if they interact when they're not being witnessed, and I guess that's technically what's happening here, but it feels little... I don't like the visual. It feels a bit too cartoonish to me. At least the one of the iPad blinking, I can understand. But then the other one as well is just the way the iPad moves in general. You know what else is kind of a shame? The iPad floats a little bit. I was wondering, so these spin, and we see that. And I was like, oh, she's clearly got like the little feet, so maybe she's got like the tiniest little leg movement. No, she's just a square. So how is she spinning on the thing? I guess she's got just internal centrifugal forces to spin out. We've even seen actually like iPad-shaped characters before with the Etch-a-Sketch, but they come in with steps, you know, they lean on a corner. I'm not seeing that here. Like she ends up on one end to fling them, but I feel like this movie is such a hard reset copying the past, but it's not picking up some of the foundational micro details I never noticed before. I don't think we see Etch-a-Sketch perfectly spin on the spot, you know? There isn't much rhyme or reasoning behind what motivates their motion. Real nitpicky stuff, but I just don't like the vibe this movie is bringing. It feels too much like a show. Something feels a little bit lost to it. Visually, it looks incredible. The lighting is actually, I want to say it's the best it's ever been. I felt like Toy Story 4 did the lighting even better. Like, it embellished the shots better. This feels a little bit clinical and professional, but it doesn't look eye candy. You know, even like the ones I have praised, like all the buzzes coming out of the water. You know, it looks nice, but it's not even like sunbeams or like extra. Am I asking for too much? Maybe. It just looks a little bit held back. There's a little bit less grit and ugliness because everything feels so clean. Like, you're telling me Woody, who's been gone for years, literally stitched up, has no texturing issues apart from entirely in one spot to inform a character arc thing that he's got a bold patch on him? Of all, I guess, like, it's interesting. They clearly need to find something for him. It's just I don't think they can ever find good examples. They've had issues with Buzz Lightyear for years at this point. And he too has, you know, a one. He's reckless now. It's fine. They never quite work out this bit. The character flaws they really seem to struggle with in this franchise. But the fact that they're looping back to them arguing, that's fine. We now have a little bit more context when it comes to the several ensemble cast of Buzz Lightyears. We don't get any of the middle details, but we know they start on an island and they're isolated and they end up with the gang as the good guys. That's a shame. That's, kind of would have preferred a mystery. I kind of would have preferred them being antagonistic. Maybe they will be in the middle, but we don't see that. We see a lot of what feels like the final arc in this movie, but that's just trailer marketing business. Again, there's some thematics there you can read going back to the first movie. Whilst also, I do mention that it's nice to see an ensemble group of effective toys doing things functionally. Here it is.
No way.
And actually, seeing, like, en masse the use of tiny tools being incorporated is quite nice. Like, an ensemble, successful group is a nice, somehow spin we haven't really seen before. It very much reminds me of the likes of Pikmin. And I can see some other parallels in the background there that are probably spoilers. Though visuals still weirdly feel like AI. Like, the thumbnail feels like an AI image that could be spat out. It's so strange and uncanny that we're actually there and AI was actually kind of right. I think it's the lack of dirt that I'm seeing. Everything's so clean that it's clinical. That's what it is. Maybe it's the fact that Woody is staring directly at the camera. But I completely forgot for that moment the very opening of Toy Story as a whole. It's with the Green Army Men. Again, ensemble, do something effectively. But now they're bigger, they can hold things better with their hands, their legs detach from their platforms, and they have the star power to them. So I guess, after all of that, they've just recreated the Green Men. Good for them. I've only just noticed that when Jessie says the line, "Who's poisoned the maid of honor?" It's like, who poisoned the water hole? Now, something that is very obvious in this is they are, in fact, going to talk about the more child impact with iPads going on. Bonnie is apparently struggling to make friends. Everyone else is individually attached to their screens, and she's more like a zombie than anything else. It's the point I'm hoping this movie comes across with, and I really hope they nail whatever the hell they're going to try to say Because they even mentioned that there is screen time limits on Bonnie, she's just not really listening. And it's interesting to hear that they are delving into the privacy element with them making a simple joke of, I'm always listening, which I didn't fully like at first, like it's old.
You're not even listening to me.
I'm always listening.
Yeah, like, it's fine. It feels a little bit more like it's just trying to tell a cheap joke. I feel like I'm not gonna like the execution of this movie until it gets to the point and the solution by the end. I'm gonna like the emotional swing at the end of this movie and roll my eyes through the rest of it. That's the vibe I'm getting now.
In Spanish.
What?
And also, I feel like it's leaning into the fact that it just has to play 2011 jokes. That this all feels outdated. We've been living in the iPad era for so long that I'm not gonna point and laugh at, wow, they said the words that she said in Spanish. Like, it's a reference to Toy Story 3. Otherwise, this feels a bit Wreck-It Ralph 2 of, hey, do you recognize that internet thing 10 years ago? Wow, here it is. God, I just have a lot of like, with this one. It's interesting, because this is also a movie that's not actually set in 2026. It's more so set around the time of Toy Story 3, so it's like early iPad days. I feel like some of these jokes are not jokes, they're just references, and they're older ones. But if someone doesn't know it, it's nice for them to know it now, I guess. I hope they can execute this well enough, because it's a big task to have a million toys, that's great. But a million toys has to stop iPads everywhere? Are they going to go to a factory and turn them off at the source? I don't know. Like, even when you look into, like, what is showing up on the lily pad, you can read nice things like GPS tracking. But also, the main social media is, like, what looks to be a kind of Facebook ripoff. It's called Ribbit, but it's bluey purple. It's just generic social media, but it feels Facebooky, which is not used by modern kids for definitely not nowadays. It doesn't seem to talk about shorts content. It's to the point Wreck-It Ralph is ahead of the crowd with the baby on the iPad in the car. Like, it feels like we're there. And I think the best way to wrap it up is an earlier statement I made that amongst many other references to Toy Story 1, I'm just going to be rolling my eyes through most of this movie and then enjoying the emotional bit at the end. To me, this feels like a Monsters University of a movie. Ironic, because the third one's actually about university in the background.
Halt! Who goes there? Whoa, whoa, whoa! I come in peace.
Oh god, it's so self-referential that it's giving me the ick. Like, if I want to enjoy the beats of the first movie, I could still watch the first movie. We've had 2 definitive endings, so now they're just regurgitating the past more? Like, this doesn't feel like its own movie. This feels like an attraction. Like, usually I like self-referential stuff, but here it just feels so shameless this time, and shallow. And other words that begin with sh. Beyond that, I've just got some personal issues with the fact that the visuals feel like well-done AI ripoffs. There's one particular frame I think they even use in the thumbnail. It just looks AI-y, especially because Woody's looking in the wrong direction. And it's a real shame. It feels like in a lot of ways this was always going to be an uphill battle, and maybe now, arguably, it's a slightly less uphill battle. But I'm still not fully convinced, and I wonder if anyone else will be along the way. For now, though, I'd best finally end it off there. Yeah, what an interesting one. My name's been Daz. Thank you very much for reaching the end of this video. Do tell us your thoughts on the Toy Story 5 official trailer. Are you spun around? Are you way on board now, or are you just as skeptical as me? Do you want to see Toy Story 1 references in Toy Story 5? Does it make it feel like a better knotted ending? I'd love to hear all of your thoughts and more. But otherwise, I shall see you all in a little bit. Cheerio!
Who poisoned the maid of honor?
This is so different. This is a rebrand if I ever saw one. Even if narratively it's all the same kind of beats we've seen before. This is such a visually distinctive Toy Story movie that it feels like it's the kind of thing that's gonna try to start again and do another 4 from here. Am I reading into it too much?
Poncho, Forky.
Is that meant to be like a bald spot joke? Like he's used enough that his hair's lost texturing? Okay, I guess that's certainly a choice for the non-aging characters, but I guess they can degrade over time. Not that you can tell, because I don't think he's ever looked better in every other texture on him.
What?
She thinks you're old because you're bald, Woody.
That's gonna be his character flaw, his development. Is he gonna turn around and do a mater and be like, I like beef for my dads, it shows personality? And then we move on. Can we meet a Cars character in the world of Toy Story? Technically, they're just like Hot Wheels, aren't they? And they not just exist everywhere. There's tiny Lightning McQueens everywhere, in theory.
Well, from someone at least from the same century.
Right, yeah, okay, that's like an interesting discussion. They are technically from the 1900s, which sounds ancient now. The classic conflict of toys versus tech. I like how on the console you could read that she's launching a GPS tracker and to get Bonnie's IP address, which I assume is just herself anyway, but I guess they've got a tracker on her. That's freaky. Again, though, actually, if we're going to talk about the lack of privacy, and that's the recurring theme, she's always listening, she knows where your child is, she knows your entire browser history, that'd be kind of nice to check. Well, parents kind of already know it and have just ignored it, but hey, maybe this is an excuse to make people not ignore it. Is it going to be that Bonnie's going to literally be in trouble and they have to, like, work together to save her? The lack of privatization is actually a good thing in the long run for this, if used correctly and in the right hands, not the wrong? Is that where this is going? What is the solution to this movie? Because clearly, iPads won, right? I'm so intrigued by the ending. I can get through the rest of this. Bingo board.